Hello. Oh, start again. That was awful.
Keep that in.
Keep that in.
Yes.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Hashtag Now. I literally can't speak.
Wow.
Can't speak. Let's start again.
Do it in song.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Hashtag Nailed It with me, Michael Lee.
And me, Tovally.
We got there in the end.
Are you having a stroke?
I think so. How are you?
I'm really good.
Good.
Kind of sweaty.
Oh, thanks for that.
But good.
Lovely.
Really good.
Now, before we begin and into the meat of the show, talking of meat, this show is sponsored, isn't it?
It is. 2 weeks in a row. Look at us. Right?
Yep.
Amazing. Oh, yeah. Sorry. This week's show is sponsored by Do the Unthinkable. Okay. And Muscle Food.
Well, muscle food.
Yes, but Do the Unthinkable.
Yeah, and I am doing it because I'm
You
literally doing it.
are. I know.
So can I just tell people about it?
Yes, please
So
do.
I don't know for those of you
Excited.
that know, I don't know if you mentioned the podcast or not.
Yeah.
So
About
yeah, but okay, this veganism this just got too far. I'm not vegan. I've cut down on meat, and this company Muscle Food got in contact and sort of said, "Well, we do various
Yes.
ready-made meals or meals that you prepare from,
Yeah, but the
meats
reason
or
they got in
whatever."
touch was because they saw in my stories how you were struggling, how the whole family was struggling and just eating beans because we really didn't know what else to eat, right?
Yeah.
And this is no offense to people who are vegan. You guys have great food, but we didn't know how to make it.
It's all in the prep, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all in the prep. So they basically
We did no
said,
prep.
Hey,
Yeah.
we can help
Muscle
you
Food do it
out.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Why don't we do it for you? So they're basically a food delivery company.
Yeah, food delivery
Yeah.
company, but it specifies in wellness, really. I mean, I think a lot of people looking at their website, a lot of people want to lose weight. So it's a good way to do weight loss. And I'm looking to lose a bit of weight. So that's good. So what it does, it gives you, depending on the plan I'm on sends me a lunch, a dinner, a breakfast,
Yeah.
and 2 snacks in between.
Yeah, and it's not weird food, by the way.
No, not
'Cause,
at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
I think I've done it now a couple of weeks now. I think it's, as a lot of people who want to lose weight kind of know, it's all about sort of portion control. So the portion you get is not an enormous size that you get in a restaurant.
Yeah.
But if you're cooking yourself, especially for families, loads of leftover, I'll just pass some more pasta there rather than throw it away, which I'm king of doing. So the portions are the right size of portions with a little bit of exercise and just general daily wandering around as you do normally, you should lose weight. And so far I have lost a little bit.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was one of your goals. Like, honestly, because when you
Yeah.
started it, like, I thought that it was more about you just wanted to feel better and you kind of like wanted...
That's probably the main way of feeling better, though, isn't it?
Do
So
you
lethargic.
feel that... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's interesting.
So I'm doing this sort of I don't know if it's vegan or just vegetarian. It's just vegetarian.
They
It's
have
like-
both, and they have non as well. But the whole idea is that it's high on protein, right?
It's very high. It's a high protein.
Low
There's
low
no
carbon.
sugars, no artificial sugars.
Yeah.
High on protein.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can also like add your side salads, and you're still
you can add
allowed
bits
to
and
have like
pieces.
wine
Yeah.
and
In
bread
moderation.
in moderation, right? It
But it's
doesn't.
not- it's
I
not one of
was
these things
worried. I
you
got
can't
to
do
admit it
anything.
because Mike does like big portions. You
Oh,
do like
yes.
big portions, and when you look at it, it doesn't look like a lot of food. But actually, when you put it in the plate and you warm it up with your side salad, it's great.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it's, again, and then what I also like about, sorry going on about it, but it's because I'm sort of a real advocate at the moment, and also it's stuff that I wouldn't make myself. So there's lots of kind of
Yeah.
vegetable curries, ragoos, vegetable
Yeah.
ragoos, things
Interesting.
that I probably wouldn't make because I can't be asked.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like you're sitting literally eating rabbit food every day going, this is killing me, this is awful. And again, the snacks, you get like mixed nuts, protein, like cinnamon protein balls. Breakfast are like different kind of porridges
Porridges are
granolas. There's vegetable wraps. And it's really, really good. And as I sort of said, you just go online, they order it, delivers.
Mike can
What?
talk about food like a whole day.
I can literally I can do
Yeah,
whole
but we're
show on
basically
this.
going to be updating people with your progress
Right,
on
okay.
our stories on Instagram, and the whole point is to do like a before and after. But again, it's really not necessarily about like how you look, in my opinion. It has to be about how you feel. So they have challenged you to do a 6 week, which obviously you don't have to do. At any point, you can say, I don't want to do it. I don't like it. I'm not enjoying it. The whole point of it is to be super honest about it and to see really how you feel and if you like it or not. And all the details are on both my Facebook and Instagram. If anybody wants to join in on the challenge, you do get a discount. I think it's promo code TOVA15 gives you a 15% discount.
Pounds,
and like free shipping, I think your first order, I'm not quite sure. And again, you can do a plan that's a 5-day a week, 6-day a week. Like they have different plans.
I mean, you can do 7.
You just need to look at their website.
I'm kind of doing the sort of 5.
Yeah, which I think is good. So you got like the weekend
but it's great. Everything's delivered. Everything comes all fresh,
easy.
Straight. Everything's straight in the fridge. Or if you're doing a lesser plan, you can even stick stuff in the freezer if it's still when it arrives. Still, some of them slightly frozen, which is good.
Okay.
And
we're gonna move on because we have to collect the kids soon. So, and we have a bit of a serious topic today, don't we?
Well, kind of, yes.
Yeah. Well, you go. You.
Well, I mean, obviously, for those of you not in the UK, you might not be aware of this story, but quite a well-known British female TV presenter took her life recently, and she was only 40, and the exact reasons why haven't come out. Obviously, she clearly had mental health issues to get to that stage where you feel that life isn't worth living. But the main reason was that the Crown Prosecution Services, the CPS, were taking her to court over an assault with a boyfriend after, we believe, an argument. And a lot of people are saying when she got those court papers on Valentine's Day by herself, that's when she thought, and also she'd lost her job presenting on TV.
So she was the presenter of a really big TV show called Love Island.
So I think the culmination of her thinking, that's my career down the pan, and this court case, we assume were the final factors to make her decide to end her life. But I think rather than go into the detail of that and about her, because I know a lot of people are not from this country, it has really opened up a debate about tabloid newspapers, social media, how celebrities are hounded by trolls on social media and all those things, and how, now how big celebrity is, whereas you're dealing with human beings with human frailties, and yet it's just got completely out of hand how things are reported, how people are accused and seen.
Yeah, because that's one of the biggest arguments now is how she was treated in the tabloids and
by people on social media.
Yeah, and how she was basically bullied and harassed, and she wouldn't have been the first one. We talked about Harry and Meghan just a few weeks ago, who decided to step back from, the royal family and being in such a public, in the public eye because of a very similar reason, So it's like it's not the first time that something like this has happened.
Yeah.
And there's actually a petition going on online at the moment, which I think has had already over 350,000. By the time this podcast would have gone out, it'll be more than that. But at this point in time, it's over 350,000.
What's the petition say?
Yeah, to prosecute or look into, investigate the sort of, the tabloids and their contribution towards it. Because apparently there was this thing in The Sun, an article in The Sun that came out on Valentine's Day, so the day before, which was poking fun at her, this Valentine's card that was poking fun. They have since then pulled the article and you can't find it online. And, they've basically deleted it. Everybody's reported about them deleting this thing, And I'm not saying that that's the thing that triggered what she, but the point is that kind of should they be held accountable for how they, like you said, treat celebrities?
I think the big debate comes down to this is to do with tabloids.
Yeah.
Are the reporting of these stories or the writing of these stories or the fabricating these stories, whatever, are they in the public interest? And people who work for tabloids and run tabloids put down the argument, we only run these stories because there's a public interest and appetite for them. Certain people live their lives through celebrities by doing launches, by being what makes them. They work with the tabloids in order to achieve and sustain fame. And therefore, once you've kind of signed up for that, we're then going to write about
Yes.
you, whether it's good or bad. And it's the whole thing about, is it in the public interest? Now, that's one argument, is it or not? You know, that's one thing. And then the other thing, which I think is a bigger thing than just the tabloids, because the physical sales of newspapers has gone down around the world. Most of it is now online. So online presence by newspapers is bigger now. And the whole argument about clickbait, if you see an interesting, sensational story, by clicking on it, you're making that publication money by with the ads that will be around it. That to me is the biggest thing. And also, if you look at, I mean, you're on Instagram, I don't know, but, I use Twitter a lot. And so, again, you'll get sensational stories and you'll click on it and stuff. And the whole advent of Twitter trolls and so-called journalists that use Twitter as their business, and the way they can pile in and have an opinion about something which may or may not be true. They obviously won't have any facts. The old days of a newspaper reporter going to an editor and saying, I've got this story, whatever it is, and the editor going, well, check your facts.
Yeah,
make
look into it.
Make sure the facts are all right. Make sure what you write is all true and all that. If you can substantiate those facts, I'll look at running it. That has just absolutely gone out the window.
Totally.
That whole thing now has gone out the window, whereby you can effectively lie about any kind of story and just say sources close to the person say this, source whatever. And it's just the fact you say sources, you're not giving a name. Either someone genuinely has gone, don't give my name, or you just hide behind, we're just going to make this up because someone in the pub has said, I'm a fan of this one. They said this, they said that. And that's the most extraordinary thing. And it must be so hurtful for people in that situation when you're reading stuff about yourself or about a loved one and it's completely made up and affecting them. And I think one thing that I would like, I assume Facebook can do it as well. I think anyone who signs up for Facebook and Twitter, and probably Instagram as well, have to sign up with a real name. I think when they register, they should be able to give ID or passport details so we know who these people are. And surely that will stop people hiding behind made up names, made up stuff.
So that's trolling.
I'm sure they're finding ways of hiding behind that, false passport and all that. But just make it harder.
Make it harder.
If you sign up your account, you're going to have what you look like, your own picture. You can't have an avatar, a picture of you, and obviously it's not public, but that social media company has who you are, your address, and your ID, which maybe has to be verified. And that way, will that stop some people just coming out with really insulting things and ghosting and all whatever various people do? I don't know. What do you reckon?
That's a really good idea. That I think could address one issue, which is really the trolling, like the fact that it's not just the media, it's also members of the public. But going back to what you said at the beginning, I totally agree. It's very odd, and this is the thing, the campaign, right, with regards to, what's happened recently. The campaign is about the press, but everybody's saying we all need to take a look at ourselves because of exactly what you said. Why is it that we like those awful stories? Like, why is it that we love the hateful, sensational, dirty, yellow, tabloidy kind of news? And those are the things we click about. It's really strange that that's like our nature.
And the whole thing about going back to public interest, there was one tabloid app that I have on my phone for sports, because I like check football stuff, and I'll go through it, and some of these sort of crime stories and horrible freakish pictures they'll put up, basically like freak show stories, are so horrible, and I immediately just go, I don't want to know about that. That to me is not in my public interest. I don't want to know about someone who's blown their head off and this and this happened, or some sort of cannibalism somewhere.
And I think there's such
there's
such a competition now, because there's so many media outlets out there. Like, whereas once there was like 1-2 channels, 2 main newspapers. Now you've got like 1 million magazines, 1 million online stuff. Like, there's so much, and there's such a lot of competition that even the same story gets you're trying to constantly think like, what's the most interesting angle of the same story? To try and like spin it in a way that's going to make your magazine or your story stand out. But this is what is going back to topics we've talked about so many times. I feel like as the general public, we're brainwashed. Like, this is my belief. Like, I believe that it's very rare to have like an actual, genuine, original opinion in this world anymore today, you know, because we're so inundated with opinions because of social media, right? But I feel like it is our responsibility to proof check. It's our responsibility to go out of our way. You know, I told you, this lady, she says that all the time. Sophie Cook, she goes like, you know, I told you, like, we have so much information on the tip of our toes, but of our fingers, but nobody actually proof checks, and nobody checks it, you know, like you said, and it's just opinions.
But you can still get sued. I mean, there's been stories when
but they don't care
people have said something on social media and the person being written about said,
also,
that's not true,
also,
retract it now. And some people, Kate, what's the name, the forgotten name, who got sued by the chef a while back, didn't retract it and was sued for £100,000 and all that. You're going... You know, it's like you can't get away with everything.
No, but that's the thing, because financially, sometimes it's still worth their while to run the story, knowing that they're going to get sued because they're going to sell more copies of the magazine. It exceeds what they might, you know, like lose in a law case. And also, sometimes celebrities, they sue for like a dollar or like something really stupid because they're all about like the principle. But I'm like thinking, no, you should sue for millions of dollars and really make it like not worth their while, you know? I like your idea about the whatchamacallit.
Signing up with your passport, with your ID.
For trolling.
It's real people, absolutely. And if you think I don't want these companies having my details, don't sign up.
Yeah.
You know, if you sign up for certain things, you need that ID. So don't do it. Well, I can't live without social media without it. Well,
people make? What about the argument that people make? I know, like, people were not saying it about her specifically, of course, because that would be like insane to say something like that. But there are people who say about other celebrities, oh, if you're not cut out to be like in the public eye and to have people write bad things about you, then you shouldn't be doing it.
It depends what kind of celebrity. I mean, celebrity used to be a byproduct of fame. You were famous for being a wonderful actor, a wonderful sports person, and from this wonderful gift you had, you got fame.
Right.
Fame now is nothing to do with that. It still is, but most people now just want to be famous and want to be famous for being famous, not having any kind of skill. So the obvious one is members of the public going on some awful reality show like Love Island, and going, I'm going to be famous now, and although I'm not a presenter or an actor or whatever, I hope, or a writer, I'm going to get work because I've been on this reality show.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I think due care and diligence is required, whereby, okay, you can go on the show. By going on the show and winning or not winning or whatever, these are the things that can happen.
Yeah.
And again, knowing and having a proper therapist saying, this is what happened to your life now and whatever. You know, you become this pantomime villain on a TV show.
Yeah.
Because of the way it's been edited and the way you've deliberately been portrayed by the TV production company, which has got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to, and I know they sort of say, oh, we interview all the people to make sure that they're sound of mind to do all this. Well, do they? Because again, you want to push the boat out. What's going to make your reality show better than the other one? You want crazier people, crazy situations. We want people who are a bit on the edge to make it more entertaining. And those are the people you kind of worry about more than, you know, someone who's a famous author or sportsman and whatever, who's got the support system, the backup people around them, advisors to go, this is what's going to happen.
I do think that when you go on those shows, you're right. Number one, you are very ill prepared, even though everybody knows that reality shows are not reality and they are completely manufactured. They are, you know, by the production team, et cetera, in order to make like the most sensational TV so that you get the most views, right? I don't think people are really prepared, and I also
especially if they're young.
Wait, and I also
Why would
feel
they be?
and I also feel that potentially the press media / tabloids feel like they're more. They can have a shot at them more so than, for example, artists or people who because with art. I mean,
look, I know for a fact.
The aspect. But there's the aspect when it's an artist, singer, writer, dancer, whatever, right? Type of celebrity. There's an aspect of their work and their personal life, right? So if you're a reporter and you're writing about them, yes, you do write about their personal life as well, but there's work. A lot of these people who go on reality shows, there is no work. It's their personal life. Like, that's the only thing you have a shot at.
This is where newspapers and TV comes hand in hand. It might be the same company that owns this newspaper and this TV thing.
So
or the other thing is all about ratings, to get more advertising. You want your show to be covered in the tabloids. And I know PRs who write do PR for these shows, and they get paid to get as many stories, made up or not, in the tabloids. So the tabloids will go, this is of interest. People want to know more about the show. We're writing about it. They're then getting more ratings. And that's when these stories get more and more ridiculous. And you're thinking about normal people leaving this, whatever the show is, let's say Big Brother House or whatever, go in there and trying to lead a normal life again and being stopped in the street. Or you were the one who did that, the show and all that. And how you deal with that is, I mean, is there an argument, saying let's just get rid of all those type of shows? Just be done with it now.
But the thing is, I think like
we've
that's
seen them all now.
But I think that's one factor in the problem. Like, I think it's not just that. There are so many other aspects. Like I said, each and every one of us, I feel like, is the problem. We're the problem as well. Because we consume them. Because people consume it. Those magazines are bought by people.
You could argue, do we consume them because they're there? So if a certain show was not on TV, would you be at home going, oh my God, what am I going to do today? I can't watch the show.
You might read a book.
You get on something else. So I think this whole public interest in people consuming it's there is because if it wasn't there, you can't consume it, and who really cares? Yeah. That's, I think, is one of the arguments you need to look at.
I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know what it feels like to be in that situation either when you read horrific things. I've had a lot of bad things said about me from trolling, not so much from media coverage. Even though I've read about myself on the internet stuff that wasn't true, but not horrible stuff, just factual wrong. So it's like the internet is full of lies, and people just need to know that not everything they read about in the internet is true. We need to take the internet with a pinch of salt. You need to know this. Did I say this on the podcast? I don't remember, but somebody Googled and said to me that they Googled my net worth was $86 million.
Is it?
Well, no.
Wow.
It's not, I'm according to the internet, I was born and raised in England.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So my point is that it's so easy to get it wrong. There's a lot of wrong information out there. I always say the bad stuff I try not to read, but then again, if it's constant, if you're somebody really famous and you're getting this constant hate and people are constantly putting lies out there about you and being very personal, I can totally understand how that would be very hard. And I don't think the argument, well, you're in the public eye, then you should be prepared for it, is a fair argument, because again, some people are celebrities by just, reality shows, whatever, and their personal life is partially why they are famous, so you would argue, well, that's what I'm going to write about, because what else am I going to write about? I get it, but there's a difference between that and just spreading lies or just being hateful for the sake of being hateful. Because even when you write about a singer or performer, you can say negative things in a sense, because you're saying, I didn't like the show because, they were 30 minutes late. They didn't do the favorite songs that everybody wanted. You have some sort of feedback that's relevant. But when people come on and they just say stuff that's really personal from a sensational place to just be horrible, that's just not nice, And that's what everybody's saying online now, just be kind. Why do people have to just be so nasty,
Yeah, well, that's why I go back to my point. If everyone has a register, so you knew it was a real person, you wouldn't say something horrible probably to someone's face in a pub that you say online. It should be exactly the same. You can get sued the same way for libel, so why say it?
Yeah, it's funny because a few years ago I know we need to wrap
it up.
But a few years ago I was working with A+, not working with them, but you remember they featured some of my articles, and A+ is a magazine that was established by Ashton Kutcher. And the whole idea of A+ is that it is a positive magazine that puts out positive, good news out in the world, which you rarely hear about because everybody flicks to the next channel to listen to what disaster is happening in the world because nobody wants to hear the good news, weirdly. And that magazine is so great. It's full of really inspiring, uplifting stories that sadly don't get featured enough and don't go viral. And you're just wondering why. Why is that,
Yeah. Look, you wrap up. I'm going to say goodbye now.
No, I'm saying goodbye now.
No.
Okay, you guys, that's it. This is the end of the show.
So, yes, for the short one, you're off away.
Yeah, I'm off away now, so we're going to have a little break because I'm going on tour. Yes. So, yeah, wish me luck with that. Oh, my God.
Go
freaking
and see her
out.
if you're in those cities.
Yes,
please.
and I will be hitting New York, Toronto, Chicago, Houston, and LA, and then Israel in April if you want to come see a show. And we will be back in a few weeks.
Lovely. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.